All right, so what's going on, y'all? We are back with our next topic. This next topic came from a prayer that I did with a friend, and it really put into perspective for her, just the importance of the world and what we see and what we don't see, but what we also have a small grasp on. And so, what I wanted to talk about was the difference between the physical realm and the spiritual realm. So, like I said earlier, there was a friend that I prayed with. She was having nightmares, and after praying and talking to the Most High um, about these nightmares and praying for guidance and protection, she went 2 days, the first 2 days that she's had in, I guess, in 5 years without having a nightmare. And so that just shows the power of God. Someone who may not have had the strongest faith in God, but he came through for even her. So that's part of the reason why I want to talk about the spiritual and the physical realm, is that a lot of us get so caught up on the physical, especially us as men. We're very visual people, so we like to see and we like to rationalize based off of what we see. And so those who aren't very spiritually sound don't really understand the ramifications of their actions and of what's going on around them. So we want to bring more light to this so that people can figure out how to navigate through, the world, through the wilderness, in a way that they're not putting themselves in harm without them even knowing it. So, real quick, I'll just start off. Anytime that you're in the States or anytime you're in the world, just traveling regular, moving around, there's two things that you got to worry about: the physical and the spiritual. The spiritual is what we can't see, but the physical is what we can see. And so there's things that happen in the spiritual world or spiritual realm that affect the physical realm. If we don't have the discernment or the knowledge, to understand how the physical world relates to the spiritual world, then we're not gonna really understand, what's happening around us, why it's happening, who it's happening to, and for what reason. And so that's the importance that I wanted to shed light on about the difference between the physical and the spiritual realm. So, you guys want to pick up on it?
This topic ain't. I don't know too much about this topic. Some of the jail.
You know a lot.
Yes, you do.
You know a lot.
I just don't know. I don't know where to start or how to. I don't. I don't know how to put it into words. It just.
Well, what I'll say about it is give some advice to get more in touch with the spiritual realm. You got to cut out a lot of the physical things that you take part in, as far as like what you see with your eyes, what you hear, also the things you put inside your body. And we got other topics and podcasts, that we've talked about that other things on, so go check it. So go ahead and go check out some of our past podcasts. But like those was saying, the spiritual realm is, it's there just like the physical realm is, but we just don't think about it as much. A lot of people, because we're using our eyes more than our spirit. And I'm gonna be honest, like, it's hard to stay in the spirit when you got all the wrong things inside your body and your mind. If your mental is off and then your physical is off, it's gonna be hard for you to be cognizant of what's going on in the spiritual realm. It's just like out of sight, out of mind for you. Hold on. just out of sight, out of mind for me. Like it is for my 3-year-old son. He ain't thinking about the spiritual realm. He only worried about what he physically want at the moment. So it's like you gotta be able to separate the two from each other and really want to be in your spiritual self more and get to a point so that's where you at. And that comes with prayer, meditation, having peace, quiet, no sound at all.
Studying scripture.
Yeah.
No TV, no phone,
Yeah.
no computer, nothing.
Yeah, like you gotta have like a lot of that, and
One-on-one.
it's hard to have that when you at work and you working, which we all gotta maintain the things some of the physical things we have in life, so that's why we go to work. But when you do get home, it's good to have some time to just to yourself, no TV on, no music. Even when I'm in the car, and I be in the car a lot now, more so than I've ever been, I would be in there with no music on, no sound on, no nothing, and just have my thoughts and things I think about and just, so what's on my spirit and what's on my mind. Like I do that a lot more now than I've ever done in my life. So it's always a battle though, and you gotta let the spirit win. So I pray that everyone can be more tapped and in tune with their spirit, most definitely. And I've had many revelations in my life, and it's powerful. It's a very powerful thing. And that's a blessing that your friend, she stopped having those nightmares. And what she thinks are nightmares, I remember I had a time in my life when I was having this dream, and it was very vivid, and a lion was always chasing me, and I thought he was trying to kill me. But he wasn't. It was like, he was trying to just come holler at me, just trying to come talk to me, and I kept running from him. I kept running from him. So one night I just turned around and faced him and said, I'm done running from you, bro. Like, what? What's up? Like, you gonna have to kill me in this dream. I'm gonna have to die. And he didn't even want to kill me. He just stopped, we talked, we walked to the edge of this cliff, and we got to the cliff and we looked out on it. We were just looking at a very, very strong, powerful light. I don't even want to say it was the sun, but it was a very, very powerful light. And we just sat there and looked into the light together, me and the lion. And then I woke up. I never had that dream again.
You accomplished what you needed to accomplish.
Yeah, so.
After all the running.
And I felt like really it was the Messiah trying to come holler at me. Like, that's who the lion was. It reminded me of they say the tribe of Yahweh is the lions. So right. That's what it reminded me of. That's what it took me to. And I'm like, dang, I've been running from him so long. The king of the jungle, it was my king trying to get to me. Like that type of correlation, that's what it was. And I had that. I hadn't been having it for years, but at the moment when it was happening for like months on end for a long time. And I was really fearful. I would wake up sweating, like, cause I'm really running from this mud, trying to get away from him. And he chased me. He never wanted to kill me. He just wanted really to wake me up.
Stop, look, and listen.
Right. So, if you are having any dreams like that where you feel like something's chasing you and you running and you trying to get away from them, don't run. Turn around and face them. And I'll tell them what might happen. And I'll tell them.
There's also another thing that I wanted to add too, about this topic, the physical and the spiritual realm. For those who, are still having a hard time understanding what we're talking about. For example, have you ever went to like a party or something and you immediately walked in and felt like a negative energy in the party? That's in a way understanding the correlation between the physical and the spiritual realm. You can go to a party and everything is so loud. You know, there's a lot of people, there's drugs, there's alcohol, there's a lot of different factors going on. And, you know, yeah, women and stuff. And so all of that is a form of like, in a sense, it's a negative energy, because all of it coming together can create like a it can move into like a fight, or somebody would take out a gun, or altercation. You never really know what can happen whenever there's spirits such as alcohol, drugs, you know, and people intoxicated. It's all like a certain energy. So when you walk into that atmosphere, you can feel something there that you can't necessarily see. And in a way, that's like how the spiritual realm works. It's something that you can feel without actually being able to see it in that realm. And going to parties, going to clubs, that's in a way where you can sense that type of energy. And right before like a fight breaks out, or you know, altercation breaks out, or something happens, pops off in a party, it's due to those negative spirits and that negative energy coming together and clashing. It's what people usually feel before like a fight breaks out, and then that fight breaks out. But that's just one example of, you know, understanding the physical realm and the spiritual realm and how they work so close together. You know, so I hope that kind of puts it into perspective what it's like. I know we've all kind of felt that feeling where we went to, especially me. I used to go to a lot of parties and clubs and stuff, and I could kind of feel the tension rising, even without knowing the people at the party. But you can kind of feel tension rising. People start to get louder. You know, things are unsettling. Then all of a sudden, a fight breaks out, or you see an altercation. People are arguing and stuff. And like I said, a lot of it comes from the mix of drugs and alcohol and intoxicated people. You know,
And booty.
yeah, all coming together to create that outcome. You know what I'm saying? So I hope that kind of puts into perspective of what we're talking about.
I remember one time me and my cousin, we went to this club. It was a Mexican club we went to. As soon as we hit the door, I was like, oh, hell nah, we got to get up. I surveyed the perimeter, the scenery, and I was like, oh, nah, we went and sat down. And cuz went to order his drink. I'm like, cuz, nah, we ain't finna be here. We finna go right now. We got on up and we got up out of there. Them dudes it felt like them dudes was finna do something to us. So we had to get up out of there. I'll never forget that. Never forget it.
You remember where y'all was at?
Yeah, we was right down there for about 47th and State. Right across from Pizza Hut, that old Pizza Hut. It used to be the barley room back in the day.
I've definitely had those experiences before. I mean, not even just clubs and parties, just walking in certain rooms, going over people's houses, just all that type of stuff. Like you can, yeah, most definitely. I've had those experiences. Protect your spirit as much as you protect your physical self.
And I'll even give you sorry, what were you about to say, bro? I'll even give you guys a bonus. There's certain instances where you meet somebody and you just have like a certain feeling about that person, and although that feeling isn't necessarily justified due to just seeing that person, say that feeling, you know, you just had, you know, something just didn't sit right with them, but you didn't judge them based off of that initial feeling. So what you did was you got to know that person. But the more you spend time with that person, the more you got to know them, the more you got to talk with them, you begin to see, you know, certain things that were like red flags, or certain things that kind of pushed you back because of that person's personality or because of their characteristics. That's in a sense understanding the physical and the spiritual realm, is that although you didn't know much about that person, there was something that didn't sit right with you. And you can't always go off of that initial feeling because you could be wrong. That could just be a bad gut feeling. But if it turns out to be like, there is something else going on, then you have to really pay attention to like the things that person is doing. You have to kind of just watch the scenery without necessarily trying to force anything out. You know what I'm saying? So in a way, certain people will trigger certain things inside of you that will not sit right with you, because whatever demons or things that they're battling, if they're not doing it in a healthy way, it's gonna it's gonna emit out into the atmosphere, you know, based in a form of how they talk, in the form of the things that they do, in the form of how they treat people. And as you start to see these things, you'll kind of understand why you had that initial gut feeling. But like I said, you can't always go off of that initial. You have to actually substantiate, that feeling and see if it's true or not. So, like basically all I'm saying is certain people are gonna make you, feel some type of way without you even knowing them. But based off of getting to know them is when you'll see if it's true or not. And after you do, then you can kind of get a better understanding of why this person kind of made you fall back when you first met them or not. So those are two examples of understanding the difference between this physical and the spiritual realm. You can be in close proximity with somebody and not necessarily see the demons that they're battling with, but time will bring out the truth and everything. And so it's either eventually you're gonna see it, or it's not. It's gonna be a false alarm. But usually, if you do see it, then it means that that initial gut feeling was true and that there was something going on. So
I agree, for sure.